Every time you flip a switch, start a motor, or charge your phone, something invisible gets to work. That something is what engineers call an electrical load. But what exactly is it? Why does it matter so much? And how does it affect everything from your home wiring to the entire power grid? In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about electrical load, step by step, from the absolute basics to real-world engineering applications. So, let's start with the foundation. What is an electrical load? In the simplest terms, an electrical load is any device that consumes electrical power from a source. Think of it this way: the power source produces electricity, and the load consumes it. A light bulb is a load. It converts electrical energy into light. A motor is a load. It converts electrical energy into mechanical motion. A heater is a load. It turns electricity into heat. All these devices absorb current and power to do their job. Now, you might be wondering, who invented the concept of load? Well, it wasn't a single person. The idea evolved naturally as electricity became more widely used. Pioneers like Thomas Edison, with his practical lighting systems, and Nikola Tesla, with his AC motors, were dealing with loads all the time. The term load itself likely came from the idea that electrical systems have to carry a burden to do work, much like a mechanical system carrying a physical load. So, why is understanding load so crucial in electrical engineering? Because literally everything depends on it. The load determines the size of the generator needed to supply power, the size of the transformers that step voltage up or down, the thickness of the cables that carry the current, and the type of protection systems like circuit breakers we need to install. Without knowing the load, you simply can't design a safe or functional electrical system. To really get it, we need to look at 4 basic parameters of any load. First is voltage, the operating pressure the device needs. Second is current, the amount of electricity it draws. Third is power, the actual energy it consumes, measured in watts. And finally, there's the power factor, which tells us how efficiently the load uses that power. We'll dive deeper into that one later. Now for the most important part, the different types of electrical load. There are 3 main categories. First, we have resistive loads. These are the simplest. They only consume what we call active power and convert it directly into work, usually heat or light. Think of an electric heater, an old-school incandescent light bulb, or an electric iron. For resistive loads, the voltage and current are perfectly in sync, which gives them a power factor of 1, the most efficient you can get. Next up, we have inductive loads. This is where things get more interesting. Inductive loads, like motors, transformers, fans, and pumps, consume both active power to do work and something called reactive power to create magnetic fields. This causes the current to lag behind the voltage, resulting in a lower power factor. This inefficiency can cause issues like voltage drops in the system. And third, we have capacitive loads. These are a bit special because they actually produce reactive power. Examples include capacitor banks and long underground power cables. With capacitive loads, the current actually leads the voltage. We often use them intentionally to counteract the negative effects of inductive loads and improve the system's power factor. Loads can also be classified based on where they're used. Domestic loads are what you find at home: lights, fans, your AC, and refrigerator. Industrial loads are the heavy hitters: massive motors, compressors, welding machines, and furnaces. And commercial loads are what you find in offices and malls, like fixed systems, elevators, and lots of IT equipment. We can also classify them by their behavior. A constant load draws a steady amount of power, like street lights that are on all night. A variable load, like an air conditioner or a factory motor, changes its power consumption over time. And an intermittent load is one that starts and stops frequently, like an elevator or a crane. You've probably also heard of single-phase and 3-phase power. Well, that applies to loads too. Single-phase loads are common in our homes for light appliances. They're simple but less powerful. 3-phase loads are the workhorses of the industrial world, powering heavy machinery and large motors. They deliver power more smoothly and efficiently. So, how does all this load affect the electrical system? In several big ways. High loads draw more current, which can cause the voltage to drop across the length of a wire. We already mentioned that inductive loads reduce the power factor, leading to higher energy losses. In fact, system losses increase with the square of the current, so the more load you add, the more power is wasted as heat in the wires. And of course, if you overload a circuit, you can overheat cables, damage expensive transformers, or trip the breakers. This brings us to the key engineering terms, load factor and demand factor. The connected load is the total power of all devices you could possibly turn on, but you rarely use everything at once. The maximum demand is the highest load your system actually experiences at any given moment. The load factor is the ratio of your average load to your maximum demand. A higher load factor is a good thing. It means you are using your electrical system more efficiently and consistently. Let's circle back to power factor because it's a huge deal. Power factor is the ratio of the real power doing actual work to the apparent power being supplied. A low power factor, caused by all those inductive loads, means you're drawing more current than you need to. This forces you to use larger, more expensive cables and can even lead to penalties on your electricity bill from the utility company. So, how do we fix these problems? We use load correctors and regulators. To fix a low power factor, we use power factor correction, or PFC. This usually involves adding capacitor banks to the system to counteract the inductive loads. This improves voltage, increases efficiency, and lowers your electricity bill. To handle fluctuating voltage caused by changing loads, we use voltage regulators. These can be automatic voltage regulators on generators, on-load tap changers on transformers, or servo stabilizers for sensitive equipment. And in our modern world, we have another problem, harmonics. Nonlinear loads like variable frequency drives, computer power supplies, and even LED drivers can distort the smooth sine wave of the AC power. These distortions, called harmonics, can cause overheating and equipment malfunction. The solution? Harmonic filters, which clean up the waveform. So how do engineers actually do a load calculation in practice? First, they identify every single load in a building or factory. They calculate the total connected load. Then, they apply a diversity factor because not everything will be on at once. This helps them determine the realistic maximum demand. Based on that, they can correctly size the transformers, panels, and cables. Finally, all of this leads to load management and energy efficiency. Techniques like load shedding during peak hours, shifting energy-intensive tasks to off-peak times, using high-efficiency motors, and installing smart meters all help manage the load on the grid. This reduces energy costs, decreases stress on the system, and lowers our carbon footprint. Here's a simple real-life example you've probably experienced. Imagine a factory where many large motors start up at the same time. This creates a massive inrush of current, which can cause a temporary voltage dip across the entire facility. You might even see the lights flicker for a moment. That is the impact of load in action. To wrap it up, electrical load is truly the heart of any power system. Understanding how loads behave is the key to understanding how electricity is consumed, controlled, and optimized. From the light bulb in your home to the giant machines that build our world, everything depends on the principles of electrical load. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this explanation helpful, give this video a like. And be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of engineering. See you in the next one.